Look at that. Great video was. Woo.
Wow.
I was on with Jason Greger yesterday, and we were
Braga.
discussing the Oilers lineup and what was happening at skate. And it was like, hey,
Yeah.
well, Warren Foegele's a placeholder for Evander Kane. And Jason Greger said, I wouldn't close the door on Foegele playing game one. That's your giant question. Would you have Warren Foegele in your game one lineup?
Yeah, I think I would. I think I would take Perry out. I think having that speed in there is good to have. And like I know I was on the show yesterday saying how I think this could be like the series that could get Perry going because of what Florida have to offer.
Yeah.
But the upside of Warren Foegele is significantly better than what you're going to get from a Corey Perry. So I wonder what they would do. Like, do you put him on the second line with Holloway? Or do you put him... How do you play things, I guess?
So here's the quote from Chris Knobloch the other day. Whether it's game one or game four, Warren will be playing in this series. So they're going to get him back into the lineup.
Which they need to.
They do. He's a 20-goal guy.
He's a good player. He's just he's struggling big time.
And the thing is now, like, you're in the Stanley Cup final. You don't need to be good for the next 15 games, right?
Four games.
You need to take this thing one game at a time.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of mindset leads to you play Foegele over a guy like Perry. Although in game one, is there maybe not something to be said about the veteran impact of Perry? We heard Matthias Ekholm talking about how there's so much more media. You kind of lose track of the goal and the task at hand when and I'm paraphrasing him, obviously, but he talked about how, like, again, there's so many distractions leading up to it that by the time game one rolls around, it's almost like, holy shit, this is the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
Maybe you want Perry because he's been in so many for game one, and then you go from there.
Well, my other suggestion would be, and it's wrong, what if you took out Carrick or Ryan, whoever that is, and you have McLeod play the center, but then you lose your right-handed centerman?
Can you show us the lines, AB? Just so I can have the visual of everything going on here. So your idea, obviously the top line is staying the same. You would go like Draisaitl, Holloway, Kane, and then maybe you go, so Draisaitl, Holloway, Kane, you can go Henrique, Brown, Janmark, and then you would go McLeod, Foegele, Perry. I don't love McLeod, Foegele, Perry, but I also don't hate that idea.
Yeah, the easy option. Well, I mean, a lot of this does come down to Evander Kane as well, who I ultimately think will play. But if he doesn't play, then just the clear path for him. But yeah, I believe he'll play as well. So I don't know. I'm kind of told.
You mean the right-handed centerman?
Centerman and defenseman. It'd be good to have another one.
But Henrique's been so good in the draws all over the ice that I don't know if you necessarily need that.
But then you lose Ryan on the penalty kill as well.
Yeah, but look who you'd still have to PK. You still have Janmark and Brown as kind of your big two.
Hello.
Hey, there we go. We're back. It's okay.
What happened?
Yeah. No, you guys are seeing stuff. Our internet didn't go out. Anyways, we're back. Hopefully everything continues to hold up. Again, the nice part, I will say, I love this backdrop, but the nice part about tomorrow will be we get the nice fancy NHL Wi-Fi.
We get the NHL Wi-Fi, and we might get the NHL guests.
I we have ideas. We're going to be meeting up with a lot of our friends down here in Florida. But anyway, short for giant question: Warren Foegele in the lineup game 1? Yes or no? I'm gonna say he's not. I think they sit him game 1. He's back in game after they lose. If they lose.
Okay, but the argument for Perry is what, the media?
He's more comfortable playing in a Stanley Cup final. He should be able to keep the guys more focused, impact in the room kind of thing. Veteran, been here before. Maybe you want that steady hand in game 1.
Yeah, maybe game 1. I'm torn on it. I don't know if I would, but I see the arguments for it. Sure, I'll say Perry goes in this one, but I don't think it'll be long before we see Foegele.
Yeah, like if they end up losing one of these first 2 games, the game after they lose, you'll see Foegele in. And again, Henrik said, as Henrik said, we have Corey Perry. Listen, I like the idea and the storyline of Corey Perry getting his redemption in this Stanley Cup final, but at the same time, it's results on the ice. It's the same conversation we had yesterday about Sam Gagner. I want to see Sam Gagner in the lineup, but this is about a ring. This is about a banner. This is about finishing the job. It's not about making sure everybody feels good and the script is written all nicely, right? Like,
yeah,
if Corey Perry isn't bringing it game 1, gone, and Drew says we need a rat, enough said. You don't, though. Like, that's playing into Florida's game. Why do we want to play into Florida's game?
I mean, it's good to have one.
Sure, but
I think the Oilers game is something that Florida needs to be playing up into rather than that.
Well, that's just what I mean. It's like everyone's sitting here being like, oh, do you dress Vinny? You need Perry because you need a rat. What's going to happen when Florida's running around and doing all their stuff? And it's like, I don't give a shit. If Florida wants to run around and try to get under Edmonton's skin, they'll probably just end up taking penalties.
Yeah.
And I'm more of a fan of hitting them with speed, playing a high skill game, which you're obviously more than capable of doing, and beating them that way. Like, everyone just, and I've talked about this now with Gregor and on this show, but like, everyone seems so worried about, like, how are the Oilers going to adjust to Florida? How are the Oilers going to adjust to Florida? How is Florida going to adjust to Edmonton? This is the most skilled lineup in the NHL.
Yeah, and the speed is going to be everything in this series. And I think Jay said it yesterday, right? Is like when the Oilers played Calgary, they were able to neglect Tkachuk because of the speed of the game and everything like that. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Florida have a ton of firepower as well with Reinhart and Foegele, but I really do feel like this is the Oilers series to lose.
Me too.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.